All right, never made a video before, but here's a video on how to solo top rope. I am Tom Michael. I've been solo top roping for 30 some years, tried every system out there. I see all kinds of posts on the dental forums, excuse me, I'm a dentist, the climbing forums on how to do it. It's basically pretty simple, but having said that, you also need to know gear and rigging. So I wouldn't recommend this for someone who hasn't climbed, I would say, for at least 10 years. Okay, maybe 5. Beginners, forget about it. But if you've been climbing a long time, you want to solo top rope, trust me, I've tested every system out there, every piece of gear, own them all. And this is what I like to use. Here's my basic rig. Looks complicated until I show you more. And this is more stuff to get out of the way. I like to weight the rope with a water bottle. There's a million ways to do it. The rope that you solo top rope on, if you're using one rope or even two, needs a little bit of weight at the bottom. I like a 1.5 liter water bottle. This carabiner works particularly nice. I like captive carabiners like this, but there's a million ways to do it. You can hang extra rope on it, you can hang a pack. You don't want the weight too heavy or too light. If it's too light, the devices you use for solo topping won't slide up the rope. If it's too heavy, it'll push on your body, shove up the rope into your groin and annoy you while you're trying to climb. Most of this is my harness and quick draws, which you better already own unless you're already solo top roping. Again, I like captive carabiners. These two by Ilrid are very nice. I'll actually take an aside right now just to show you some I used to use. DMM Blade Master works great. I've actually never used this. I just bought it to try it. It seems backwards to my brain. Actually, I absolutely hate these. I actually brought it out just to show, don't buy that one from Black Diamond. It's awful. These new ones from DMM are really nice. Edelrids. No, that's Climbing Technology. These are really nice. But the ones that I currently prefer are these two. My main rig, belay harness. I like this, switch hands. I like this double action. Like you gotta do the double action to open it. My secondary rig just requires this little toggle here to open. I don't even know that it matters if the carabiner is locking, as long as you have one of these little tabs at the bottom or some way to keep it oriented properly. My main rig is on this is a Petzl Horrendous harness belay loop. They could easily both be. I personally like for most rigs to have a half runner rigged like this. Sometimes I need to put my phone down to re-rig this. Sometimes I like it girth hitched in, depending on the climb. So sometimes I will rig my secondary device, sorry about the blackness, like this. But I've currently come to where I really prefer a jury rig chest harness and a shorter belay loop. And again, it would be perfectly fine just to rig it all on your belay loop. This is just being crazy paranoid to have a secondary backup device. Otherwise, I typically carry, I don't know, half a dozen or more quick draws. A few runners wouldn't hurt. The Grigri is not for solo top roping. I have the latest one, which is best for rappelling. This is for rappelling a single rope, and it works better than any device I've tried. But I would absolutely not use that for solo top roping. It's good to have a few quick draws for clipping into harness or into belays, a few extra carabiners, 2 micro tractions. One of them I have modified where the cam will not lock out, which is easily done. I did it so long ago, I don't remember how I did it. I think there used to be a little tab right where I'm looking at. We'll look at my other one because I didn't modify it. If you wanted to be crazy safe, you modify both of them. But Oh wait, the tab's there. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong side. See the little tabby right there? This will not open all the way without that tab, but you can also lock this out. And if you accidentally lock that out, and we're solo top roping, thinking this thing would catch you, it wouldn't. So, at least one of your devices, I think you should get rid of that little pin, which is easily done. You could do it with a hand file. It goes on the back side of that. Yeah, you can kind of see where it's a little shiny there, where I used a dental tool, I think, when I was practicing dentistry to cut it out. All right. I've tried many Traxes, climbing technology, roll-in locks, a duck, different ascenders by Petzl. I mean, there's a ton of devices you can use. Ushba ascender, devices with teeth, without. Everybody's freaking out about teeth on the forums I read. Teeth are fine. Teeth are Jumaring. Teeth do not harm your rope at all. Teeth are more secure than not having teeth. I say go with teeth. And these devices slide with less friction on the rope than any other device. So you need less weight on the rope to tension it. There's as small and light and compact as any device you're going to get. I've tried them all. Micro Traxes are the way to go. I'm going to pause momentarily and finish this video on with a harness on a rope in my climbing gym. Oh, by the way, speaking of, here's the home climbing gym at the Michael House. Actually, it's the nicest home climbing gym in the world that I know of. And I've been climbing 40 years, and yeah, so I kind of know my shit. Anyway, I'll be back. Okay, it looks like it's working again. Sorry, I'm not a videographer. I meant this entire video to be 5 minutes long. It's already 7. Sorry about that. Key safety issue. My cell phone, which is my iPhone 11 Pro Max, which is amazing. Anyway, I put it in this, clip it to the back of my harness. The danger of solo top roping is you are alone most of the time. Although actually often there are still other people there. You're just climbing by yourself. It's the safest rock climbing I do as an experienced rock climber. For a beginner, I say, no way, don't even think about it. You have to know how to retrieve yourself from dangerous situations. And I just realized, for my last video, I forgot a carabiner. I'll be right back. All right. Again, just to show how I rig. Carabiner there. I like to use a backup on my harness with a second carabiner. That's just being super paranoid, but nonetheless, I am super paranoid. Again, I'm in the climbing gym. So here's a rope I've just rappelled down with my gree-gree from the top of the cliff. Oftentimes I'll rappel down to an anchor, like a sport anchor, chains, clip in with 2 quick draws to my harness, stay clipped in, pull up excess rope, tie a knot, clip it to the anchor, then unhook from the 2 carabiners and keep wrapping on my gree-gree. Again, you gotta know how to rock climb to do this stuff. I'm just telling you the basics as far as people that are experienced rock climbers that know how to rig anchors, retrieve themselves from anchors, deal with emergency rigging, whatever. So I've rappelled on this rope. I'm on the ground. This rope just happens to be hanging in my gym, but I will typically tie a clove hitch, which I guess I should have, this was already hanging here. Let's just call that a clove hitch because it's easy to adjust. You want I like to use a water bottle, like I said, then I have water, it's perfect amount of rope, or weight, 3 pounds. You want about that off the ground. If you pull all the excess slack out of this into the ground, you can easily adjust, pull it up a little bit. That seems about perfect for solo top roping. I have 2 micro tractions. This is the single rope technique. I have the one that I've modified with no lockout. That's my primary. I have the one that I haven't modified. I mean, best case scenario, you modify both of them. I always rig the bottom carabiner first, just to test everything. Weight the rope, get all the slack out, make sure the carabiner or the water bottle doesn't hit the ground. This is an old rope, by the way, so it probably doesn't stretch much. But pre-rigging is a key part of the system. Oh, then, and this is kind of key, I think. I've done a lot of solo toproping. I'll just girth hitch here instead of just double it. And here I will just clip into this, like this, and go climbing. The problem with that is there's quite a bit of slack in the rope. And if it's something you know you're not going to fall on, I might have been off frame, sorry if I was. If you know you're not going to fall, that's fine. But if you do fall and you have a bad back like I do and you're near the anchor and the rope doesn't have a lot of slack in it, you'll really shock with your lower back. That comes to a whole separate topic where people argue whether you should use static ropes or dynamic ropes for solo toproping. I say dynamic, period. Don't even think about using a static rope, particularly if you're older and have a bad back. You want the rope to stretch a little bit. In fact, you want it to stretch a moderate amount if you fall. I feel this really strongly, although other people feel otherwise, but I don't see personally any reason in climbing to even own a static rope. Unless you're leaving one fixed at cliffs to Jumar over a week-long periods to clean roots. That's just my rant, my opinion. No point even arguing it because that's not even the point of this video. Back to my normal rig. I like to use a modified chest harness, and you can do this in a million ways, but this is like the simplest, easiest way to do this, to keep pretty much all slack out of the system. You get a standard double runner. This is one of those Mammoth slick, skinny ones. And you rig it by putting your top micro tracks, your primary device, on the rope, pull the rope through, then you clip your carabiner in, maybe test it a little bit, then you sling this over your shoulders like that. Then, before you start climbing, if it's hard at all at the bottom, which many climbs are, you get all the slack out of the rope before you start climbing, and then you climb. And this thing slides up, there's no slack in the system. And once you get to the anchor, then you clip in with carabiners, re-rig everything. And I've never done this in my gym before. Let's see if I can get out of this. I might have over-tensioned. Dog. Great. So I get to redo the whole video because I was an idiot. See, this is the kind of reason, I'll just point out right now, you still have to be able to deal with stuff you run into climbing. And maybe you come to a move you can't do, and you're stuck, and you can't get off your devices. You gotta know how to deal with climbing issues. You gotta know how to deal with staying alive. So even though climbing or solo toproping is super safe, super simple, you still run into stuff that I just accidentally ran into right there without even trying to on my video on how to do it. How am I gonna get out of this? I was momentarily stuck. I could go on and on, but this is supposed to be a 5-minute video and it's probably already at about 15. So, hopefully that is helpful. Anyone has any questions, feel free to contact me. Be safe out there.